All right, welcome back to the YouTube channel that is based all around trading and trading education, nothing else. So, picking up where I left off was honestly a long time ago, like a week and a half ago, maybe. But exciting news, I passed the challenge. If you've been following along with these YouTube, bought a I pretty much started from scratch. I made that video where I explained the payout I got, and then I was like, fuck it, let me just start from scratch and do it again. So it took me about a month. I was using correct size. I wasn't just full boarding because I wanted to make it relatable for people watching. Side tangent, if you have the money and you are profitable, I would just say buy funded accounts and like full port them. Like, why not? If you have money, you're profitable. You don't want to sit and do like a month of like trying to pass a funded account and make no money. It's just like it, and that's only if you have money and profitable. You have to be those two. So if it's your first like year or two trading, definitely trade how I did here. But if not, I think it's like a lot higher leverage to just full port accounts and then try to get as many as possible. And then if you're profitable, you'll make up for it if you fail a couple. So picking up where I left off, I just went back in this video. I had to go back since it was like a dinosaur age ago. But we are going to recap what I said in that last video. So if you watch that last video, you know I think I went through 3 of these. That's what my brain just racked from the little bit that I just watched. It was these 3, and this is good because I did it live, and you can go back and you can watch that. I can't change that video. So 2 weeks ago, I sat here, or I was in a different spot, but I sat there and I was like, okay, the week prior, this is USD CHF. The week prior, what we had here was an area that, this is actually one of the trades I caught. Let me go down to the hourly. Okay, so yeah, I caught this earlier in the account, and I remember I caught it, I think it was in that last video I went through this, caught it like this. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait for next week to do something like this. Come down, retest this, pretty simple shit, break and retest a higher time frame. Or I guess this is like lower time frame for what I trade. I'm normally on the 4-hour daily. But this is what I was looking for. And this trade has been like recapped before. I'm just kind of updating it. And then we never got that, right? And so I updated somewhere around here because I can tell by this line. I updated somewhere around here where I was like, okay, it didn't happen last week. So I'm going to wait for it to come retest that area of liquidity this week. What did it do? Came down. This is not one I took. I'll show you I only took 1 trade to pass the second phase. I took 1 trade and, well, technically I took 2, but one of them was a loss. So we came back down, area of liquidity retested. If I would have caught this, if you have a pending order set down here, you would have caught like the freest trade of your life. I think I said I was going to enter around here, put my stop somewhere around here. So that would have been if you caught the bottom and then, like I said, pending order to the top, you would have caught a 5-to-1, which is 500% for anybody that of what you're risking. So if you're risking $100, you would have made $500, which is pretty cool. So this is why I like this strategy, because you can take very little money and turn it into a lot of money and not like be in the casino. It's like how I like to describe it. Like you could have risked $500 and then made $2,500 and then be hands off and just cash while you're learning how to trade, which is like a very good opportunity. So yeah, that ended up winning. I didn't take it, but that did win. It happened too fast for me. So let's go to this one. Okay, this one ended up being kind of a dumpster fire. I think so this is where 2 weeks ago it was sitting, and I made that video. I said, if we get something like this, I'm interested. But I also said in that video, and I also put it in the Discord, I said that this one is sketchy. I don't know. I said these exact words. I remember saying this. I was like, I don't know why I sometimes think what I think. I guess when you just have been trading for a while, it's intuition. But I said in the video, and I said in the Discord, I was like, this looks sketchy. Like it follows my strategy pretty well. I was like, this looks sketchy. I don't know what, something about it. I said, be careful, tread lightly. And if you took a trade when I posted that video and you were like, fuck it, I'm just not going to listen, and you would have lost. But it ended up coming back up here, and then it like retested again. That's why you have to be really patient. So it did like this, I don't even know if this is a strategy, but it just like swept much, hit this like supply zone that it's been in. It was a choppy pair, so I was like, I'm not really going to use this. But if you caught like the second wave, congrats. That was really good patience on your end. But then it ended up coming down here, and you could have caught like again another like 5-6 to 1. So and then it opened up this week all the way up here. So if you navigated that, I'm getting a call. Great. Okay, so if you caught this, like, good on you. I can tell you've been trading for a while, or you're at least pretty good at it. Because if you caught this, you like are very patient and you wait for your setups. At the same time, it's like you don't have to catch everything. So that's the update on that. Let's go to the next one. Okay, this one is also I was a little unsure of. I remember 2 weeks ago I wasn't excited about really anything, which is why I didn't trade until literally last week. Like I didn't even take a trade on any of these that I'm showing. Okay, the way I describe this one is we have the market structure. It was around here, and this is a market structure shift. That's what MSS means. So if we're here, we're pushing up. We were somewhere around here, and I was like, okay, it's kind of it was rejecting. I remember when I filmed this, it was rejecting this area, the gray box. It was rejecting it, but I was like, okay, I need a 4-hour close. So if we go on the 4-hour, I was like, I need a 4-hour close under this, and then I need for it to do something like this. I need to close under here, and then I need to bullshit around because that's probably what I was going to do, or I thought I was going to do. And then I need a break and retest under that market structure shift. Now, it's not the prettiest one, but sometimes you just have to find points that you have confluences with, and use that to base your risk off of. Okay, as you can see, we closed under that hourly sweep, like the 4-hour. We did what we said, or I said I wanted to happen, but we never got the continuation, which is what I'm looking for. Now, if we fast forward to now, Friday, it did exactly what I wanted it to do, right? This, when you see candles, and this is the 4-hour, this is probably better for me to go on here. When you see, I'm a momentum trader, right? So when I see something like this, see market structure, we're clearly bearish, like pretty clearly. And you could say you should wait until something comes back up into here or furthest here, right? To get an entry on. When you have a candle I will never enter a trade until I wait for candle confirmations, one, and candle closes. I will always wait for my confirmation, and I will always wait for closes, whether it's on the hourly or the 4-hour. Kind of just depends on what the chart looks like. That's how I determine which time frame I'm on. When we push into something like this and we just get a boner, like a green boner to the upside, you don't enter this. Like nobody in their right fucking mind is getting in this. If you're getting in this, you're pretty much gambling. You're waiting for a rejection, which we ended up having right now, but it broke the trend line. So this isn't something I'm looking for, not in the future. It didn't work out in the past. Gee, I sound like a fucking getting over my ex, but no, it's just a chart. Like, it broke the trend line. We're flipping sentiment. Not interested. All right. So this is actually the trade I took to pass the phase 2 of the account. If you remember, I bought those 2 accounts. Oh, and to address the E8 account, since I got wicked out and I still have that account, I'm just not including it in this challenge. Maybe if something happens with it, I'll update. But I was just focused on those two funding pips accounts. But I've definitely went over this trade before. If you can tell, I trade like 5 to 10 pairs monthly. So I'll look at 5 to 10 and I'll pretty much only trade like 5, like a whole month. That's just like what I found works. But I've definitely went over this trade before. It was the Head and Shoulders rejection from this area of supply that we were in, and I was waiting for a break and retest under this, which I caught. This is actually what passed the account, and it was like it was a Sunday because I posted in the Discord the passing. So what happened here, right? We clearly have the Head and Shoulders in the supply range, and we broke under, and then we retested this form of supply, right? Or this form of support that turned into supply, right? So how do I enter this and make sure that I'm approaching the market with like a good mind frame, right? And I'm always, like I said, I'm always waiting for my candle confirmations, and I'm always waiting for candles to close, right? And this was on a Sunday. So like generally, like Sundays aren't the best time to trade, but if you catch them at the right time, they can honestly be advantageous. Okay, this wasn't right. I just fixed it, but I mean, it was pretty close to what I had. But what am I looking for here to approach it in the best position possible? Like I said, this was a Sunday, so this is at 8 o'clock at night, and I'm like, okay, I gotta wait for London session. But honestly, we are having a really, really hard time, and we didn't open above it. When you don't open above a supply range, like on a Monday or in this case a Sunday, when you don't open above it, it's a sign of like the new week. It gives you like a bias. It gives you a weekly bias and a daily bias where we want to go. That's just what I've found with experience trading this way. So I'm like, okay, I don't think we're gonna like close above this. I don't even think we're gonna get above it. Following my strategy, the market structure shift for what I have was around here. It's not perfect, but I'm gonna wait for this candle to push back up into my shift, or it was like this like general range right here. That should be red, but anyways, I'm gonna wait for it to push back up into there, and then I'm gonna try to snipe an entry off of that and catch it to the downside. I'm gonna take a shot on it. Sometimes you just got to take a shot on a couple of things. So that's exactly what I did. I had a nice place to base my risk off of. I could place this trade, not really worry about it, chop around a little bit because I was going to sleep. And then exactly what happened. I remember I had an entry, a pending order up here, and then I got in a market position on the other account. But yeah, I had good risk. This is good RR. That's pretty much what you want to base your whole life around, is risk to reward. So what happened? We pushed back up and we went down. Another thing I will say that I've learned the hard way, and in this case it doesn't really apply, but when you're setting your take profits, never set your take profit at like one of these wicks, right? You never want to set it like below. You always want to set your, like, even like here is risky, but like in this case, I kind of wanted to hit 3 to 1. So I was like, okay, like somewhere around here, to the point where sometimes it feels like the market knows where your take profit is, and it doesn't. It doesn't care about your $20 that you have in the market. But the way to combat that is just putting it in like the not under wicks, right? Like, why do you like want to catch an extra like 0.2 RR for you're risking your whole, like whatever you're risking? I don't know. Hopefully that makes sense to someone, but you know what I'm saying? Like, that goes back to the risk reward thing. Why are you risking an extra 0.2% when you're risking a lot more money that you have on the table? So that is what I caught. I passed the account. Like I said, that's how I passed the second phase of that account. You only need 5% to pass phase 2 of one of those accounts, which leads me into the next one, is what I lost on, right? Sometimes you lose, just part of the game. I actually think this is a great learning lesson for anybody watching this, if you following along. I think I got burned on this earlier in the chat. I like this pair, honestly. Like, sometimes, like, this is on my like blacklist of pairs now. But I kept trying to short this wall, and you never want to do that. Like, it's just like a general rule of like, okay, if you lost on it, it's probably not a good idea to trade it again, because it's like, I don't know. Sometimes in trading, you have ego. And you're like, fuck that pair. I want to get that fucking pair back. And then you keep trying to short it. And then that happened to me a million times. But I only lost on it once. I lost 1,500 or $2,000, whatever. And then I ended up winning on the other one. So that's just called good risk management. That's just what you have to keep in mind when you're trading. Only lose once or twice on a pair and then get rid of it. Out of sight, out of mind. And now for this next upcoming week, I'm not going to post this on YouTube. I'm going to have to join the Discord. I just made it public. It's free. Like, you don't have to fucking pay me anything. I'm a nice man. So if you want to join the Discord, I'll put it in the description. But I'm going to post next week because it's Friday right now. I'll post next week's pairs in there. And hopefully we can keep this hot streak going.